Alright, obviously in a new environment, but okay, obviously in a different place today. About to have a cookout, but wanted to get this video in and let y'all know how my experiment has gone. Notes. I changed one word in my cold email campaign and realized my list was full of a different type of customer and honestly, a more ideal customer. The campaign started working. I had 35 people reply with a positive response and they all raised their hand saying, yeah, I'm interested. I even got to the point where I started understanding the pain points and the struggles and was able to get a pitch ready of how I could help add value to their business. And then I didn't send it. Sprint 3 was less about could Property Mob get traction and more about can I become the person needed or the person required to actually grow and convert on the traction Property Mob gets. If you're new here, this is the experiment. I bought Property Mob for $75,000. It is currently making $0. And my goal is to find out if I could grow Property Mob into something real, meaningful, and profitable without having to sacrifice my relationships, my career, my health, my social life, and having fun. Can I build something meaningful and still have a life? This is Sprint 3. I decided to make this 3 weeks just because I was out of town, had a lot of family visiting, and revenue is still, fortunately, 0. But for the first time, 0 is not the only number I'm looking for. Property Mob dashboard. The goal is to get to $5,000 a month net. For the campaign, I sent 1,164 emails. I contacted 762 leads because I do an initial email and a follow-up email. I had 72 replies, 60 unique. That works out to about a 7.9% unique reply rate. I had 6 bounces, 0 unsubscribes, and most importantly, 35 opportunities. Now I want to be careful how I say this because every lead is not the same type of lead. Some leads could be worth 200, some could be worth 2,000 if they prefer higher ticket, more consulting one-on-one work. There are tens of thousands of dollars sitting in that pipeline, sitting in those conversations. But potential is not revenue. Revenue is still 0. Let's dive into my execution for the week. Week 5, I spent 2 hours on Property Mob and completed 1 out of 4 inputs. Week 6, about 7 hours and roughly 3.5 out of 5 inputs. Week 7, about 4 hours and 2 out of 6 inputs. The execution was not consistent. Myself up over that. I wanted to dive in. Was this instantly campaign successful? Is it working? Overall, for cold email, if you email 100 strangers and you get a few to respond, that's pretty normal. And with me, these aren't strangers. These are people that have opted in. However, my list is about 5 to 6 years old, so I'm doing a reactivation to see who's still engaged, who's still doing things, who still wants to learn and be a part of Property Mob. Yeah, and so the good news is that, to keep it simple, the good news is that people are responding. It's what's happening after they respond that's been the big holdup. And this is a better problem to have because all problems are not equal. Good problems to have, as in it's more about am I sending things, am I responding quick enough, and less about the traction. Which anyone starting off, at least I'm having lead generation. For my life dashboard, my career, out of the 3 weeks, I got a 10, 10, and a 9. I'm going to give that an A. Property Mob, I did 4, 8, and 4. I'm going to end that with a C. Health, I did 10, 3, and then 5. I'm going to end that with a B because I also, when I wasn't working, I was getting like over 20,000 steps. And personal, my personal brand, 966, give that a B+, just because that's like, this is more of a hobby of mine. And then I did errands pretty well, 7, 10, 4. So I'm going to give that a B+. I got all my appointments done. Social Restore was 8, 9, 8. I had a lot of fun. I was able to hang out with friends, relax. It was a great time. And this is why I keep the life dashboard, because if I was only looking at Property Mob, I would just be like, I need to work harder. But the full dashboard gives a picture of this balancing all the time. Week 5, I hit all 4 workouts, but then Property Mob wasn't as good. Week 6, Property Mob was the best part of the experiment, and I only worked out once. Week 7, I got my health back and did that catching up from work from being out of town, but then Property Mob fell down. Something goes up, something else falls down. And I'm getting frustrated with it because I feel like I'm giving my all and it just feels like each area of my life is just getting it on a different week, but it doesn't make me feel like I'm having real momentum or real progress or improvement. Overall, what I worked on for Property Mob, the plan was really boring. I cleaned up my CRM, load leads in, create workflows, emails, follow-up sequences, train AI, take the campaign from people are responding to having a system of what to do next. Week 5 was hard because I was also studying for a certification, had to go out of town to do an annual meeting and company events in the headquarters. And so I was very all over the place, along with kind of not having certainty on location, project assignments, my lease is up soon. A lot of that stuff is running in the background. I'm really proud of myself because week 6, though I had to travel for work and had the certification exam and a lot going on and getting to spend time with family that I hadn't seen in a couple months, I watched a video about focus and attention, and I realized how many things were just loading in the background. And so I was able to actually lock in and be like, you say you want this, let's get after it. And so on the plane, I was focused and getting so much done. And I think it really shows, like, if you want something enough, you'll do it. And for me, I worked on the decision tree, responses, training, my life operator, all in a plane. I was able to get so much done using AI and systems. And so I have a feeling in the next few weeks, some of the things I've built are going to pay off extraordinarily, because with AI, it's about tweaking and refining every single week. And so I believe that the replies will get faster and execution will get quicker and more effective. And that next week, I was supposed to monitor my inbox every single day. I set some time, and I ended up only getting like 2 out of those 5 days because I was really trying to catch up from being gone from work. And but it is what it is. And I got to keep reminding myself, I got 600 emails out there using automation. Imagine if I was doing that individually. It'd take forever. So I got that done, and I got 35 replies. And now it's just time to start making the most out of these things and these opportunities. A big thing I started with is I used to say, are you still looking to close your first wholesale? Getting about 2 to 3% response rate. And so from that, I always assumed that my list was beginners because they come in through a free course or a contract download. And it wasn't until I switched one word and said, are you still looking to close more wholesale deals? And when I sent that word, everything changed. I realized my responses were about 50-50. A lot of them were like, yeah, I've been doing wholesaling for years. I'm always looking to close more. Or, yeah, I would love to start, I just don't know where to go. And so it really gave me this decision tree of like, okay, experienced here, beginners here. And it made me realize that some of these assumptions I was making were wrong. And that is why I need to continue to fail forward and fast, because you get way more information and data of what works and doesn't work by putting things out there than to just keep them up here, think through things without having real life data. This was genuinely pretty boring. I didn't enjoy it. And I think that's been the hardest part, is like you go to work and I'm forced to grow and do things maybe that I don't really feel like doing, or maybe I'm not comfortable doing. And then I come home and then doing all of this doesn't really light me up. It doesn't give me that spark that I was really hoping for. Yeah, it definitely has me thinking about things and figuring out maybe how I can make it more fun. And I realized a big part of that is that a lot of my motivation is of losing or letting people down. And so with business, it's different because a big thing you lose is money. And for me as an investor, I kind of detach emotionally. And so that kind of doesn't give me enough motivation. And so there's something there that I'm realizing the opportunity to pitch myself. And I like hesitated and I didn't do it, and I procrastinated on it, which means it's the next thing that needs to be done. But I kind of need to, as I get it done, unlock what was holding me back from that. And I'm not quite sure, but I also need to find something that makes the reward worth the risk. And right now, the reward also feels like just more work for an extra couple $1,000s. And so I have to maybe find a way of treating the reward to be more than the risk. AI helped me a ton in this. It's sending the emails for me using Instantly. I have trained the AI agent now, and so the replies are getting easier. And it also helped with cleaning the list, segmenting, responses, everything. It just was so much faster. And mostly I'm trying to use AI to get rid of things I have to do repeatedly. I don't have to keep using fresh new bandwidth on things that are done over and over again. And so it's really, really important that I keep honing in on these AI agent skills to help push me forward and improve. And yeah, the big thing is I had the pitch and I didn't send it. There was someone there that I could help, and I didn't let them know, here's how I can help. And I'm planning on doing it for free to show them my worth, get them some wins, and then offer a more higher ticket retainer service. And so there's no reason why I shouldn't pitch it. And so that's just something that I do need to hone in on and fix going into Sprint 4, which is already in. I'm already a week into Sprint. But yeah, so it seems like there's a lot of things that I'm going to have to kind of work through by doing them. And so that's what the sprint is about. I think a lot of it too is like my career and my degree pushes me to be very precise and perfection. And there's this standard and you can't really be wrong, but you have time to figure out the right answer. And with business, it feels like it's the 180. You got to fail forward, fail fast, keep it pushing, put something out there, observe. If you're wrong, make changes. And so it's a different skill set that's really, really uncomfortable. But I know that this elevation for me is going to just take me to the next level, kind of working on this skill set. Yeah, I'm not happy with my progress with Property Mom. If I'm being real, it's not where I want it to be, but at the same time, ultimately this experiment isn't about sacrificing my life and the things I enjoy. It's about finding a way to build the business while maintaining health and my career and my social battery and my restoring. And so I am starting to realize, but right now I realize at the same time, if I spend 2 hours next week and it's just responding and pitching myself, I will make money. And so it's this balance of just do the hard things first. And at least I have the dashboard that shows me that, which is helpful because now at least I know where my time and attention is going to. For them really hone in on what the experienced operators actually need for their business and be willing to pitch myself to help. Because I already know I have this skill set. I work on 9-figure projects and I come in and I put all my energy to it and I make things happen and I add value. I'm not really worried about the adding value part. It's more, can I be faster? Even if I'm wrong, can I fail forward? Can I progress with the uncertainty? And yeah, I just need to act on it. Getting attention is not my biggest bottleneck anymore. It's being responsive, acting on it, being fast with replies. I need more reps. I need to hear no more often. I need to be comfortable with being wrong. And I still have to figure out what exactly I'm going to do to make some improvements so I can continue to grow Property Mob along with everything else in life. But that's sprint 4. Send that damn pitch.